Good morning. Thanks for joining us on the Off the Scale Unfiltered podcast. Bridget and Shauna here, ready to talk some shit. It's been a week. Anyway, we've been gearing up for company coming, so I've been averaging about, 750,000 steps a day. No, really, though, it's been over 20,000
The burn is real.
The burn is real. It's been crazy. Close to 20,000 at least. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been good. And workouts have been rough. So we did upper body, and then the next day we did lower, and we're doing 5 sets of everything this week.
Okay.
Because we're trying to get it in, right, before everybody comes. And my triceps...
Is that because you're planning on not doing anything this week?
Well, we're going to be very active, so we're kayaking and hiking and doing all that stuff, but it's going to be hard for Brian and I to go sneak downstairs for an hour.
I was going to say it's like a deload week.
Possibly, and I'm going to need it. No joke. We're going to go to the gym today, but my triceps literally, so what day is today? Sunday. I think we did Wednesday, I want to say was upper body. Yeah. And my triceps just stopped hurting yesterday. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh. The DOMs are real.
Oh my gosh. It was bad. It was like, I went, and then legs, hamstrings. Oh my word. Anyway, so it's good, but I also noticed my arms and my hands are falling asleep more consistently. So I know that my impingement, aside from the thoracic outlet, I know that there's something going on with those nerves running through my arm. So,
okay.
Yeah. And no, it's not. I mean, I had a doctor go, well, you failed 2 of the tests, but you passed 1 for carpal tunnel. I'm like, it's bilateral. It's coming from my neck and shoulders in that arena. I know this, but I just went, whatever. And I walked out the door. I'm like, I want a test. I want a nerve study. Just give me one, So we know exactly where it's at, and I know what I need to do. But anyhow, that was a tangent. So
let me do it.
Yes. What do you got going on? Nothing?
I got lots of things going on. I don't even know where to start. So Rochelle had, Tom is beta testing this AI. So basically what he's doing, he's building an AI with all his stuff thrown into the AI so that it answers like he would, or like finds, taking it from his advice, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was saying like, let's say you can't do it over a week. So it has to be like over 4 weeks. Take week 1's weight, average, not just one day, just the average of 5 to 7 days, whatever you weighed for the first week. And let's say that number was 150. And then go to week 4, take the average of those 5 to 7 weights. And let's say it was 145. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it would say like, basically, you lost 5 pounds, divide that by the 4 weeks. That gives you X amount of pounds per week that you lost. That's how you can figure out where your maintenance is approximately and like where your deficit is so that you can adjust accordingly and see if you were accurate. Because like you kind of have to be mostly accurate in how you're tracking your food.
Right.
So I came to find that Macrofactor, it pretty much does the same thing, right? However, I have stopped feeding it my weight because I don't like when it jumps. So right now, Macrofactor has me holding steady at 1900 because I am not feeding it my highs and lows.
Okay.
So if I see a weight staying consistently, now a lot of people will say, but Shauna, it's looking at your average. I don't think it is because like the expenditure goes up and down daily. And just because I shot up in scale weight, and like I'll take last week from example, the 5 pounds, it dropped. And it continued to drop the whole week, even though I started to level off. So that's why I'm starting to feed it my weight again. Anyway, I give or take about 100 calories from my tracking because I know I don't log as accurately as I should.
Okay.
Right? And I think that's everybody. So Macrofactor has me at 1900. I've been probably tracking about 1900, 1950.
Okay.
So, and I have not lost weight in about a month.
Okay. So you're at maintenance.
So I know I'm at maintenance.
2100, somewhere in there.
So now Fitbit will say that I'm around 2300. So this is the difference. This is where your grain of salt comes in, right? Because we can't go off of what Fitbit says. But from your activity that you're either active or you're not. You know this. The Fitbit helps you track this. And then, there's so much to unpack because like, did you listen to that whole Diary of a CEO podcast with Lane?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I got about 3/4 of a way through. And then of course, squirrels came in and fucking, they're so long. So his podcast is Steve Bartlett. Great. I love listening to his accent.
2.5 hours though, right? Two and a half
It's two and
hours.
a half on average. He's about an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely one of those car ride things. And Lane said something during that podcast, and I'm like, I fucking knew it. So he
Yeah.
said if you basically have a predisposition to obesity, right? And like supposedly there's that gene out there. I forgot which gene it is, and I think 23andMe will have it on there to see if you have it or not and stuff. But there's, if you're predisposed to being obese, the more calories you eat, the less you tend to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking said that a few podcasts ago. I was like, I feel like the more calories I eat, even if I'm in a surplus. Now, I think there's a caveat to what kind of calories they are. And we'll
Right.
get into the macros and stuff like that later. But he also said the people that fidget a lot, those are the ones that, the people their feet are constantly shaking.
My
My
brother's that way.
ex-sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my ex-sister-in-law is totally like that. Like the fucking foot does not stop moving at all. And she tends to be thinner and she can eat whatever the fuck she wants because she's constantly moving,
Right.
right? So they can eat more. And Rochelle was saying her husband's like that too because he's just constantly moving. So he can eat more,
Right.
and plus he's a guy. So I found that interesting. And then Kendra Jarrett is someone who I've also been listening to. She was actually a student of Bill Campbell,
Love me
who
some
we
Bill.
all know and love. Yes. And of course, Bill Campbell's getting into the whole, because his wife is going through menopause. He's starting to do a lot of studies now with menopausal women. Fucking
Mm-hmm.
finally, right?
Yeah. Right.
Fucking give us our soapbox, goddammit. We've been
I
here.
know. Poor Stacy Sims.
So
She's been carrying the load for a minute.
exactly. So now, like, we got Bill Campbell coming into the theater. So I don't know, like she's the one who had that podcast about the milkshake theory, and I forgot what the fucking theory was. But anyway, so she started talking about how macros really define how your fat is coming off in a way, or like how
Mm-hmm.
you're storing stuff. So, she's like, it's coming we're coming to find that protein is not the 1 gram per pound. It's actually a range of a 0.8 to a 1.2 per pound, right?
Right.
And, you can be somewhere in that range. But she also said today, which I found interesting, she's just like, if you have extreme highs and lows throughout your week, she's like, that's going to affect things as opposed to keeping it steady. And I know a lot of people like to play around with, having high, low days or like, going off this thing off the weekends. Like, hi, that's
Yes.
me. But she said, like, a lot of times because of those highs and lows, your body doesn't know how to stabilize it. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting too, because like
Mm-hmm.
even though I've been maintaining my body fat and my body fat's been maintaining too, I lost more weight like back in March and April. Like that's when I got down to this, and now I've
Right.
been maintaining this. And I want to get down just a tad lower. I'm not talking like extreme, like 20 pounds. I'm talking like 5,
Right.
if that. And it's not the fucking Vanity 5, honeys. I can definitely lose a little bit more than that, but I like my ass. So what I'm going to do this week, and like what I introduced to Bridget before the show, was that we're going to track or like take pictures of our food and like just say, hey, I had this 5 times this week, so you guys are going to see my oatmeal that I have. The fruit might vary, but like I have oatmeal like probably 7 days out of the week. And this is how you do maintenance. And maintenance begins with your weight loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're eating in weight loss, you're just going to eat a little bit more of that in maintenance. It doesn't mean that you go off the fucking, charts with all the fucking high processed carbs and shit like that. And then that got me thinking too. So I'll let you take that.
Yeah, actually, and I'm glad that other people are starting to gravitate to what Stuart Phillips has
Hmm.
been talking about for a while with regards to the protein. And it is something that they're saying, hey, with the advancements in technology and all of the things they're able to do now with regards to studies, that they're realizing, oh, okay, you don't need as much, that the true change is coming from the strength training and the activity. And his range, I believe, actually the bottom is 0.5 for somebody who maybe is just starting out and trying to get. I had a friend of mine that she's just really starting to get into tracking and macros and all of that. I gave her that 0.5 as her baseline. And I said, let's take it up to 0.8. So anywhere in that range is good, but make sure you get
I
at
mean,
least this,
that is huge though, because like if you think about it, You know, and even think back to like when you were eating like whatever the fuck you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though you're not tracking and stuff like that, like you don't get enough protein. So even a
Right.
point 0.5 can be a huge difference. And like,
Right.
are you doing that based off of her current weight or her goal weight?
Her current weight right now, her
Hmm.
current weight. And because it's just because point 0.5 is what I consider to be very, very low, I wanted to use her current stats for her to aim to that baseline. And then that way, by the time she's lost the weight, that same number, so let's say it was 90 grams, we'll just throw a number out. Like, let's say it was 90 grams. By the time she's lost 10 or 15 pounds, now that 90 grams is probably her point 0.8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? Am I
Yep.
saying that right? So, yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even for me, as I've been losing, and I'm losing super slow because I'm taking in
Yes.
1900 to 2000 something, right? It just depends on the day because some days I'm freaking hungry and we're staying up later because, hello, my life revolves around the sun. So it's like, oh, stay up with the sun, get up with the sun, and these shorter
Right. Right.
nights, I'm like, crap, I don't get enough sleep. But yeah, so I'm hungry, right? We eat dinner, and then 2 hours later, I'm going, oh my God, I want to choose something. I don't want to just drink a shake. I want to choose something. So those calories, I'll be like right where I need to be. And then like, shh. I did that last night. I ended up eating, I had grapes. I ended up eating some grapes, which isn't terrible, but out of all the fruit sources, grapes tend to be a little bit higher. Well,
I
not
mean,
all of them, but I was like, yeah,
but, like, that could have been something far worse.
right.
Well, and, like, I don't even wanna say far worse. Let's get that fucking shit
Yeah,
out,
I mean, I could have
you
got.
know?
I mean, I didn't feel like making popcorn, and then I would have had to add the butter, and by the time I was done, I'd be at 300 and some calories. I'm like, I'm definitely not going there. And that is the
Right.
nice thing is if I get really close to that 19, at the end of the day, I don't have any wiggle room, so I have to go. Are you really hungry, or are you just bored because you're going to go over, and then you're not going to get closer to your goal, and blah blah blah. So
Right, and
anyhow,
then, like, the voices in your head start talking and
uh
shit like
huh.
that, and, like and I wanna, like, rephrase because like, a lot of people are starting to say diet, and diet is just, like, what I eat. It's not
Your
because I'm
nutrition
in a
plan.
deficit. Yeah.
Yes,
My
yes,
diet is purely, like, it's just because we named it diet culture. You
yes,
know what I mean? But,
yes.
like, it's what you eat, you
It's
know?
been taboo. Well, okay, so that brings me, and I've talked about this in the past
Squirrel.
few episodes. So one of the gyms I teach at, and the one that Brian and I go to the most consistently, it's pretty much comprised of 18 to 40-year-olds for the most part. I would say that is their bulk. And I would say the majority of them sit in that early 30s range.
Okay.
But there are quite a few college students that come, and it is a strength training gym. I mean, they have cardio equipment, but there are 6 rooms dedicated to strength training in every
Nice.
machine you could possibly imagine. I have noticed, and this makes me so happy, I have noticed all these young girls working out, and we're talking by themselves a lot of the times, headphones on. They mean business. They're doing their hip thrusts, they're doing their deadlifts, they're serious and their form is good. So whoever they're following or whatever they're doing, the guys that own the gym told me that a lot of them are athletes in college and they're home for the
Okay.
summer. So they probably do have like a legit program. But I just want to say that it's refreshing to see young people across the board, but specifically young girls feeling confident to come into the gym and
God,
get
yes.
their shit going. I mean, it is
Yes.
I'm mesmerized and I'm
I
like,
wish
okay,
I had that shit. Like,
oh my
I wish.
God, it is incredible. And, some of them
Mhm.
are buds and they're in there and they're like, nah, 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 talking or whatever. But I see more of these young girls working out alone. And it's just, I love it. I love it because, and even with the young guys, they're in there doing their thing. You can tell the ones that are by themselves are more serious, right? They're really into it and they know what they're doing. And so I feel like social media in this way has been very rewarding because there's somewhere for these guys to go. And Jeff Cavalier was talking about that on Huberman last couple weeks ago when he was on. And he was saying, there's more information out there. So if people in this generation, they've grown up with technology, so they're used to kind of, grabbing that info off of the computer or off of their phones and being able to apply it better than us. Like we're like, back in the day when we were first learning how to do stuff. Like,
Well,
what is it they're doing? And like,
but like I think that's the thing. Like you know how there's different types of learners.
mm-hmm.
So some are more visual as
Yeah,
opposed to reading it and stuff like that.
I
Like
cannot read it.
no, yeah,
Mm-mm.
I'm definitely a visual. Show me.
Yes.
I'll write my own notes, and it's gonna be hieroglyphic or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, I can write my own notes about it. But show
Mm-hmm.
me how to do it, right? So like, I love being able to listen. Like even like I bought "Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle" as a book.
Right.
It wasn't until I got the audio, and obviously, like I tune out because I have
Mm-hmm.
ADD. So, but like, it was like that whole progressive overload. I was gonna say about the gym fact, like I remember in college, my one of my roommates, she's like, "Girls, we're going to the gym," and we're like, "Huh?" Now it fucking smelled like fucking dirty fucking socks and God only knows what else. All the fucking football players were in there and shit like that. I'm
Yeah.
fucking shy as fuck. So I get on the leg press. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I think it was like 200 pounds at the time or whatever. And like this one dude came up to me. Now, like I wish I would have asked him more because like he
Right.
was definitely built. You know what I mean? And he's just
Yeah.
like, he's like, "You're strong." I was like, and I'm like, sorry. Like, I was just like, "Oh, really?" You know? And he's just like, "Yeah." He's just like, "You are really strong." I was like, "Well, thanks," you know? But then, like, I didn't ask him anything further because, like, it just wasn't there, right?
Right.
Like, that would have been the perfect opportunity to say,
Right.
"Hey, teach me something."
Show
And
me.
get into it. Show me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then, like, years later, after I had my daughter, I go back to the gym. And, they always throw the deals out there like, hey, get a personal trainer for like a month for like, $100 or whatever.
Right.
For $25 a week, you meet them 2 times a week or whatever. They expect you to come in more than 2 times a week and actually
Mm-hmm.
do the fucking work, but I wasn't doing that. So the gym that I was going to at the time had a separate room for the women to
Right.
feel more comfortable. Now, very different than what you were just describing. So the women's side,
Right.
I don't even remember if it had dumbbells in it. It had a whole bunch of cardio machines, mainly fucking treadmills, and it had benches. So I think we had to go out into the main room, grab those weights, and bring them into the women's section.
Mm.
If you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
one day she brought me out into the main room, and I was just like, I was shy as I was just like, "What do you mean we're working out here today?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
because like you feel self-conscious, like,
Oh yeah.
the people who are heavier and stuff like that, like we want to feel, that we belong here, and we feel like everybody's staring at us, but that's
Mhm.
not the case, right?
No.
So like I'm doing my crab walks and stuff like that, and those fucking kill. And then she put me on the like press again, and she's just like, "Wow!" She's just like, "See, you have good form already, and all this other stuff." And like it brought me back to the college days, and like I wish like it would have, I wasn't ready for it.
No. No. And
That's
and
the
it's
thing.
different. There you didn't
Yeah.
see people like you in there. Now, I mean, it's I would say at the gym that I was talking about, it's not exactly a 50-50, but my guess is it's like a, 35-65 split, on women and men in there.
Yeah.
Or 40-60 even. I don't know, there's just I see women in there all the time, just almost as much as men, and maybe it's just the time of day that I'm going, but it's
It
refreshing.
could be, but
On the
that's awesome.
flip side of that, I have been seeing more and more of this women shouldn't lift weights, skinny thing going
Ugh.
on, which I had been seeing, but then someone pointed out to me, even more that that's a thing. And obviously, you and I have been talking about this with the GLP-1s, that people need to be exercising and strength training, especially to not lose that. And I mean, it's just
They
very
all the
frustrating.
experts say it.
Hmm.
Every single one of them, even the influencers, like, a lot of people say, "Oh, Dr. Mike fucking he was on roids and all this other shit." Okay, fine. But he's saying it too. Like if you're
Yeah.
on it, and he's done the
Yeah.
retatrutide.
Yeah. He's all for it.
He
So,
admits it. It's not like he's hiding it, right? But
yeah.
he's also saying you need to fucking lift weights.
Yeah. You
You
have
need to get your
to
fucking nutrition in check.
offset. Well, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. And I think, a lot of it is these girls in the bigger cities, where they have that level of perfection to have to, meet those standards in these big cities, especially, places like LA, New York, maybe
Hmm.
even Chicago to some extent, where there's a lot of that model
The
thinness
model
going
physique.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas for a while there, we had like more fitness models kind of coming up. And now we're going back to this thin is in thing. And I see it getting worse before it gets better. And unfortunately, for a lot of these young girls, and older women for crying out loud, it's setting them
Mhm.
up for some eating disorders and mental health issues with when it comes to food and movement because they're being told to not lift weights and to not. One of the videos, you might have sent it to me. I think you did, where the girl was
Yeah.
like, if you want to have skinny legs, don't do squats. Get on the
Yes.
treadmill,
I sent you that one.
but don't go too fast
Right.
because your leg muscles will be too big. And it's like, what are you talking about right now? And she was literally like the size of this, just what are you saying? But if girls are feeling insecure and they, want to fit into this, and again, it's probably certain
It's
demographics.
I was gonna say it's almost like the antithesis of the body positivity, because the
Yes.
body positivity and, like, we should have known it was coming when they started this fucking, leggings
Swing.
legs fucking
Yeah.
trend.
Yes.
So what was it? A few years ago, the leggings legs were a thing,
Yeah.
and that's basically when you're wearing leggings and you have, like, the thigh gap.
Yes.
I don't think I ever had a thigh gap. I have a thigh gap when my legs are, up in the air or whatever, because then
Right.
all the fat falls down. But that's about it. I'm okay with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the body positivity, it almost like forced the skinny, and they're like, oh, you value yourself more if you're skinnier and
Oh
stuff like,
yeah.
no, bitch, I value myself more because I got fucking biceps.
Yeah,
Okay. That's,
that's
that's
the
just how it
truth.
is. I'm going to
But I
be able to
think that,
walk.
like I was saying, like that pendulum swings so hard. When you go
Mhm.
all the way up, it's going to come back, and it's just a natural thing. It's going to
Yep.
go the opposite direction, and it's like, people, can we just please be healthy? I just
Just be
want.
healthy.
I was talking about that. Maybe it was with you. I don't know. I was talking about it with somebody. Oh, it was my class. I was saying how this friend of mine that's coming to visit, it's my bestie from high school. So we've been best friends since 14, 15 years old. And we had done all the concerts and all of that back in the day. And Bon Jovi was a huge one. So
Nice.
I would go to the beach, and I know I've talked about this. I weighed 117 pounds. My body was beautiful. It was just petite. I didn't have a lot of muscle or anything at the time. Although I did take strength
Yeah,
training in high school, I did take that class and I liked it a lot. So I should have ran with that at the moment. But at
right.
any rate, I would literally wear my Bon Jovi t shirt into the water because
Yeah.
I didn't want to look bad. And I'm just like, I know I've talked about this
Hmm.
because it's like ridiculous. I look like an idiot. And so,
Because you
it's
weren't
this,
as skinny as the others, or like,
or
like when you're looking at like the
line.
Bon Jovi videos or the Warrant videos and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Oh,
I don't
White
look like
Snake.
that.
I wanted to
White
be like,
Tawny Katane, yes,
my God, now she don't look nothing like
yes,
that now, but
no,
oh my God, she was stunning.
I
But
yeah, and like her hair and all that. But then it's just like, that's
yeah,
extensions, and like
right?
there's so much that goes
There's
into
so,
it,
oh,
people.
I know, and but honestly, for me, the minute Terminator 2 came out, Linda
Her
Hamilton was
arms,
that for me was the body I wanted, and I've known, and I think we talked about this in the very, very beginning, that I've known for a really long time, and this freaking pisses me off, that I didn't have this mindset. Because I've known for a long time that my body typing, and we talked about this last year,
yep,
that I could really hone in and change my body composition fast and like dramatically if I really hone in. And so here I'm finally doing it, and obviously the scale's not moving, but like I can see this, you know what I mean?
hmm
This is
I
new.
can see
Like,
that too, bitch.
yes.
Yes,
And so I'm like, yep, and
yeah,
I did that for Brian the other day. I was like, what do you think? And he goes, oh my God, you got like dude triceps. And then he stopped. I told you this. And then he stopped and he
yeah.
goes, I hope that didn't offend you. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like God. But
I
it's,
love seeing this right here, like
yes.
the
Oh
light,
yeah.
the light you can kind of
Yes.
see it, but like that horseshoe, I'm just
Oh
like,
my God. I
yeah.
can't wait. That's what I'm always looking. I'm like, is it there yet? Do I have Shauna arms? Do I have Shauna arms? And I know it's
And
coming
oh,
and
we
it's
gotta get into that too.
consistent. So it's just, it bums me out that I didn't focus sooner, but here I am now and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being 55 and finally getting the body that I can have and that I deserve to have and that my, longevity requires that I have, right?
Yes.
but I'm doing it very, very, very slowly. It's in terms of the nutrition changes. I mean, the muscle changes are happening because I'm feeding my body enough to fuel that muscle change
Okay.
and all of that. But maybe I have more body fat to lose. The scale's not budging a lot, but it's because I'm doing this. Oh, wait, more muscle. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah,
probably going
yeah.
to ride this out. And frankly, I'm at 134 right now. I haven't been here since 2017, and I certainly did not, and I've said this, have the same amount of muscle that I have now.
Hmm.
So if I stayed at 134, but my body kept shifting and I started to get Shauna arms, and then I start to get those
I'm okay
legs,
with that weight. Yep.
yeah, and my
Yep.
legs start to shape, and because I'm already, Brian said, your butt's lifting. It's like, okay,
Yes.
I'm good with all this. And it's just fun. It's freaking fun to look in the mirror each week and go, ooh, what's that? Ooh,
You know
yay.
what? Maybe it's fun because you're not concentrating on a number anymore.
Right.
You
I ain't
know?
gonna lie.
It,
I'd be really happy if I woke up one morning and it said 129.
but
If
you
it stayed
totally
there.
could.
Yeah, it
You
could. It
could.
could happen. It could
You
happen.
know?
But I'm just like,
Especially like as you're building the muscle and stuff like that. I was looking at I look at my phone. That's why I'm looking down because like we have show notes that we talk about
yes,
during the
we do.
week, so we can get to our things. But which fits in perfectly with what you're saying right now because you had told me you're like, what are we chasing?
Yeah. What are we chasing?
What are we
That's
chasing, right? So like,
yes.
and even Kendra mentioned it. She's just like, sure, sometimes we have a number that we're trying to hit, and then like you get to that number, and you're like, not what
Yeah.
I expected,
No. Well,
you
okay, and
know?
I'm going to mention I'm not going to say her name because she's funny about that kind of thing. I would want to check with her first, but I'm going to tell her
Mhm.
story. She was telling me, she's been struggling with this whole scale versus what she sees in the mirror. She sent me a picture of
Yes.
herself from several years ago, unrecognizable, like you. Unrecognizable. And
Wow.
but she had been, not, I don't think she is now, she had been letting the scale dictate her success versus what everyone else could see in the mirror.
Yes.
Her ability to do deadlifts, her strength, her, just her overall improvements in her life and overall wellness. But she hit me up yesterday, I think it was, and she said, oh my gosh, I just went and bought a bathing suit and it was a size 6. And she said her bottom is her part of her body that she really feels self-conscious about. And she said the bottoms were too big on a size 6. Woo, woo. And I was so
That's
excited for
awesome.
her because I
I usually
realized,
have the opposite.
yeah, right? Well, yeah, because you got the brunk bunk.
No, what did you said this week? Tube suck.
Girl. All right, our guys are just gonna
I
have to plug
died.
their ears. They're gonna have to
Sorry,
plug their ears. Okay, so thanks for bringing
I
that one up.
died.
All right, so doing our measurements, right? Every 4 weeks we're doing everything. So I go to measure my chest, and I'm like measuring where I always measure, but my nipples were a little lower than they used to be. And I'm going, what the
I can
hell?
bet.
And I'm like, because I'm losing in my chest, but I'm building chest muscle. But
Uh-huh.
because I'm losing volume here,
Yes.
they drop, though my chest is getting bigger. So I had to measure it in a different way, which is throwing my numbers off because I'm measuring more like a guy now across here. Whereas before my nipples were there.
See, I've always
And now they're
measured
not.
here.
And so, yeah,
I've
so
always measured here,
before,
but that encompasses your lats, right?
yes, it
Like if
does.
you're,
So I was like,
yeah,
and then my hip measurements went up too because my butt's getting bigger in a good way.
word.
And so I went around, I'm up a half an inch, I think, on my hips, but I'm okay with that because my hip, like,
Be like, that's what I
the
want.
saddlebags are going away and I have a
Yes.
straight line from my hip bones down and there's no
Mhm.
bulging going on there anymore. And I'm like, so again, these weird things, like in the shower, and I know you had to have way experienced this, but in the shower, you're like shaving your legs and you're like, or you're, washing your belly and you're like, like,
I'm like right here, like I
yeah,
can
yeah,
feel it.
yeah,
I can
like,
feel the serratus over here and shit like that. It's just like, yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, but just these dumb little things. I know, and I've said this, I keep saying this through this whole entire thing. I've said this before, but when I lost my original weight, back in 2000 when we did Body for Life, that big moment for me was wrapping, because this was before the big ass towels that you can buy now. It was like a normal bath towel. I could pull it around and tuck it and it stayed.
Yes.
And I remember running down the hallway like,
You
I mean, that was a
Or
big
like the regular
moment.
towels fit
Yeah.
around you and stuff like that. I was
Yes. It
thinking
was just those little dumb things that
it's
you
those little
realize.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That
I
change
I
your day
love
to
those
day.
things.
Yeah.
Yes, and like I think I was talking to a friend, and I think that's one of the topics we were calorie deficit. No, maybe. All right. So we were on our bikes, and she's like, I got to ask you something. She's like, okay, I need your advice. And she was telling me that she's afraid of weighing herself. She has that mental mindset of, like that number will be the death of me kind of thing. And, I don't want to look at it. But I noticed my favorite jeans from last summer are not fitting the same way. They fit, but they're not fitting the same way. And she's just like, what do I need to do? So like we just talked about her meal plan and stuff like that. And we come to find out that she has a good breakfast and stuff like that. Great dinner. It's that midday meal that she has or midday snack. And it was like an apple and peanut butter or something like that. I was like, you need more protein. I was like,
Right.
she's like, I usually like have a salad for dinner. I was like, how much chicken are you putting on there? And she's like, I don't know, 3 ounces. I was like, you need more.
Mm, that's not going to
So
do
it's just
it.
like, yeah, so like she would start off strong with like a yogurt with some, she had some granola in it, which is not going to be like detrimental. I told her, I was like, you look fit, but
Yeah.
like, you get to that point where it's not about the number on the scale. And like, obviously she's not looking at the number because she doesn't want it to ruin her, but like,
Mm-hmm.
she notices it right here. And she's just like, well, maybe it's like, getting into the perimenopause. And then she mentioned, how her mom is. And I'm like, my mom was the same way. Like, back in the 60s, thin was in, right? Like everybody
Twiggy.
we're talking Twiggy. Yeah, exactly. So like my mom, who's like fucking 5 feet, used to be like under 100 pounds. Now she's a fucking short woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I'm hitting 100, but she would talk about how thin she was, the hot pants were in, the fucking go-go boots, all this other stuff. Like you had to be thin. But now, like she would progress and then she gained a whole bunch of weight, obviously had 6 kids, blah, blah, blah. And like there was always that thing of like, this is what you have to look forward to,
Right.
you know? And like her mom would say the same thing to her, like, oh, this is what you have to look forward to. However, our moms were not of the fittest persuasion. Like my mom had her
Mm-mm.
hot stint of doing Jane Fonda. There was a moment in there back
Denise
in the city.
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, you know, when you get to a certain point in your journey, like you have to enjoy the journey process.
Right.
Even all the trials and tribulations, the highs and lows, you have to enjoy all of it because this is what's going to ease you into maintenance and for the rest of your life, right? You have to come to terms that this is your lifestyle and that this is not just for 12 weeks and everything. And we keep going back to that because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we could say it enough. Until that fucking thing clicks for you, it will never settle in for you. Like a lot of people will live in a calorie deficit. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Go into maintenance first. Even Kendra said, like, when I take you on, as a client, she's just like, you're going to sit in maintenance for a little bit just so we can figure out where you're at.
Right,
What
where
is your
your
base?
true maintenance is.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that taking breaks, deloads, all those things
Yes.
that really help. In fact, that same person that I was just talking about that got into a size 6 bathing suit, she was saying that she had taken a break for a bit and now she's back and everything's just like churning. And I'm like, yeah, because
Yes.
you took a break. Now you kind of get newbie gains again. And your muscle has some memory, so that is assisting in getting the ball
Yes.
rolling for her.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of breaking because, again, same age group, she's a little bit older. That same mindset of it's got to be the scale. And the friend that I was telling you that I was chatting with that is just getting into it, and I was, making the recommendations for the protein and stuff. It's like you have got to figure out how to break out of the stripping the calories down to nothing mindset. And it's
Yes.
hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. If that's what you've known and that's what you always do, it's hard to trust the process and to take the time. And it's been hard for me and it was hard for you through years until it
Yes.
finally, you had your click aha moment. Mine came this year and I was
I'm
telling
still getting
her,
them.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you have these, sometimes like you say this all the time and I've said this in the past, you hear something 75 times and that 76th time it's like, all of it
Beautiful
comes
thing in place.
together. Like, this is amazing. And
Like, what the fuck
yeah,
was I missing? What do you
right.
mean progressive overload?
Yes.
I
And
wasn't
I
doing that.
have to do, I'm telling you guys, you have to do the strength training. That says the personal trainer who
Yeah,
never really did it to the capacity that she's doing it now. I mean,
right.
that is where it is. You have to do strength training. I don't care.
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can do all you want with your diet, But if you
Yeah.
don't have the strength training in there, it ain't gonna change.
You're
And
just
if
gonna
you just
become skinny fat.
yes, and that's it. If you just want to lose weight and have no change in your body, sure, you could just, strip your calories down. You're not going to stay there. You'll go back and then you'll do it again and that will be your life cycle. Go for it if that's how you want to do it. But if you truly want to change how you look, how you feel, how you move in life, you have to do strength training. You have to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Never gonna say that. And like I just found that I love it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I don't know if it's because like I do it by myself,
Yeah.
right? Because like a lot of people need that going to the gym thing, and like it's almost like a group class, even though you're not talking to anybody there,
Hmm.
But there's a social aspect of it, and I tease Mark a lot because like he is so honed in. I want you to hit on honing in.
Yeah.
Mark is so fucking honed in. The eye of the tiger. I want that.
Yeah.
I need that eye of the tiger shit. So like our challenge ends in August, on various dates or whatever. So like I think we have 7 weeks left
Hmm.
officially. So I need to hone in. I need to grab some of that kryptonite juice and fucking I want to see. I need the 5 pounds. Like I don't. It could take fucking 7 weeks. I could give a shit.
Yeah.
But like I am more afraid of. I don't know. It could be a psychological thing because, like, I'm not talking like a huge deficit either. We're talking 200 calories a day.
Right.
That's like 4 Hershey's, bars or whatever.
Right.
That's like a Hershey's bar. Like, you don't need that Hershey bar. But I want it all to come from my fruits and vegetables. And like a lot of people, when they start cutting carbs, it's usually those carbs that they start cutting, as opposed to like, I think we were going to get into that too, the macro fit thing. Not this week, but maybe as we're tracking this week
Hmm.
and like taking pictures of our things, we can show like, and we're not going to detail it out, people, like per day or whatever. We just want to show you snapshots of like, hey, I had this 5 times this week or whatever, and like this is what it comes out to macro wise. So the average of the week. Are you tracking, Bridget?
Oh, yeah.
Food. Okay, so
Oh,
like
yeah.
for the average of the week, we can show what our calories were and what our macros were.
And that's with me
What I
having
was going to say.
5 people here visiting and partaking
Listen,
and a little
that
bit more. I
sometimes
will
that's
be
just part of it.
partaking in beverages, I must say, just while they're not a ton because I don't want to have panic attacks every night either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But we will be partaking because we're gonna,
I think
be
that's
out and
gonna
about.
be fantastic. Like, and I was thinking about the deload week too. I'm like, fuck, when do I have one programmed?
Hmm.
Even Dr. Mike was saying like you need them like
Yeah,
at
this will be
least
my
8 to
week.
12 weeks. And I'm like, fuck. So I was thinking though, like, because I was working out 6 days a week, going down to 5. Is that kind of like a deload? Not really. Like you're
No,
supposed to
I
like
think a
drop down the
deload
weight a
would be
lot.
more, in my opinion, like just taking it down to some basic stuff. If just
Yeah,
a
I
normal
know.
activity. So I think that'll be me because
I'm not ready.
we're gonna do a strength training session today, which will be total body, getting in our 10 sets for the week for each muscle group. So we'll nail that
Okay.
out, and then this week we're hiking. Now, of course, Mother Nature's being a bitch. So she's looking like it's going to rain a
Rain,
couple of days.
rain,
So
rain.
we're like, all right, we'll go to the caverns on one of the days. We might go to DC to a museum if it's raining on another one, but you're still walking.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're planning on kayaking and hiking several trails. So that I won't be not getting my steps in. We'll be in the pool, so I can put them through a workout or whatever. And I'm teaching. They want to come to my classes, so I'm still
Oh,
going to
that's
teach my
awesome.
Monday night strength class. Tuesday morning we'll have cardio drumming. So I'm going to be. This is not a true deload. It's going to be a strength deload. And then that way
Yeah.
I come back the following week and I should be, maybe some of this numbness and tingling will go away, but
Yeah, that'd be good.
it's grip. I know it's this and then whatever I got going up in this thoracic area. But anyway, I've already talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
no, I think me taking pictures of this shit this week is going to help keep me a little bit more on track. You know what I mean?
that was totally unplanned. I forgot that you had guests coming
No,
this week,
that's
but he's
okay.
like,
It
"Oh, let me
actually
throw it
works
out
out.
there."
They'll be like, "Oh my god, she is so obsessed," and be like, "I gotta take a picture of my food." Like, it's good for my
They're not
podcast.
giving me the prettiest pictures, but it's
No.
going to show you. Like even like I had, so I'm going to try and cut down my coffee to 1 time a week. Now that's not to say I don't have caffeine, people. I have my Celsius every day before workouts, but I measure out like because if you go to like Tim Hortons or whatever, you don't know how much creamer they're putting in. You could
Yeah,
say two, and then like they're putting in four.
right.
So I at least on a Sunday I know how much creamer I'm putting in. Or if I take my own coffee, I'm putting in like let's say 2 tablespoons. I
Okay,
measure it out. So and I'll be tracking that. So I already took a picture of my breakfast this morning. I took a picture of my lunches and stuff.
nice.
I'm ready.
Well, yeah, I'll have to wait for my breakfast tomorrow. I don't know. We're gonna have some crazy breakfast, but I feel like I have to have my yogurt in the morning, or I can't. I was talking to my friend about that yesterday. I can't just like I tried to do oatmeal. I can't do it. I gotta
Yeah.
do yogurt with my protein powder, my chia seeds, and my almonds. That starts my day with my fruit,
Mhm.
and then if I want to have oatmeal before my workout or something, I can. But I can't. I've
Yeah.
tried. I've tried. But anyway, all
I
right.
mean, like, that's just it depends on you, like, you don't have to have a set regimen, like, I
Right.
didn't have oatmeal, so I did the yogurt, before my workout on Saturday, and it wasn't bad, like, I had
Yeah.
the strawberries and bananas in there for the fast-acting carb, which is what you
Yeah.
need for your
Yeah.
energy, but I went right back to my oatmeal because I just love it,
It's what
so
you do. It's what you
yeah.
do, and you find what you like, and that's what you do. But all right, well, I am going to be officially cutting us short today just because I need to get to the grocery store.
You got shit
I
to do.
do, yeah, I gotta go. But and we're got a guy coming over to install some stuff on my car, braking stuff to help with pulling the camper. I can't remember what the
Okay.
heck it's called. Anyway, it helps so that the camper's not pushing the car all the time. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good.
anyway, all right, guys. Well, have a great week. Shauna, have a great week. I'm sure we'll talk at
Thanks.
least a few times. So,
Absolutely.
all right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.